our technocrats, the Kahozas, the Muteviles, Kasami, working with the other groups from Washington, from those places. One time I wanted to go to Washington and attend that board. They said, no, you are banned. I said, why? Only the Minister of Finance can come here. But the Minister of Finance is my appointee. Why do you stop me from coming? They have never told me why they don't want me to go and is the World Bank here? No one of our World Bank. Yoweri, where are they? Bali. So, the development financing by the Mutevire, they told me that development financing, there was even a, do you remember a man called Slade? Slade, was he here for World Bank or what? The American man called Slade. You're all young people, you don't know. He was here for the World Bank. And then I said, okay, the development funding which was there was for infrastructure. But also, not well thought out infrastructure. Sometimes they would want the money to go to social infrastructure, schools, health centers, very little for the economic infrastructure, the roads and so on. But even when they talk of the roads, they never mention the railway. Never mention the railway, never mention electricity. So you wonder. And yet these are people who say they are capitalists. But how can a capitalist not know how money is generated? How will you have affordable inputs in production if you don't deal with electricity, you don't deal with the railway? Okay, you may spend on the roads, but the road transport is very expensive. Much more expensive than rail transport. And then, of course, you need than water transport. And of course, you need electricity. Big battle to get money from some of the sources for electricity, for the railway. Recently, we got something from the European Union for the old railway, the meter gauge. I want to thank the European Union. Thank you very much. Apoyo mateka. Katonda ababere. But big battle. So therefore, you find, yes, even when there is progress, there is an irrational situation. A few roads where all the traffic is. The cargo is there, the passengers are there, the petrol tankers are there. It is totally irrational. The rational way is to have the railway transport the cargo cheaply, have the pipeline taking the fuel, and then you can have the light cargo and the passengers on the road. But all that rationalization is not possible because funding for infrastructure is very difficult to get, and when you get it, it is only for the roads, never for the railway, never for the electricity. And then, for the private sector, why not have development financing for the private sector? Those friends of mine whom I started with here, including that man whom you don't remember, they said, no, Mr. Museveni, you, government, work on some of the infrastructure, not even all of it. Private capital will come and do the wealth creation, the private sector. Private sector, from where? And yet these African economies, they have a lot of problems. First of all, the fragmentation of the market. Because you make a study when you are still here, since it's a summit. Summit is a very serious matter. You make a summary between 1978 and now, when Deng Xiaoping in China opened up the market of China, and now, how much FDI, foreign direct investment, has gone to China, which is not, according to some of the people, not democratic, and how much has come to the democratic Africa. Please, total it up and tell me before, at the end. Says, and democratic China has attracted, I don't know how much, trillion, and the democratic Africa. Fragmented, democratic fragmented Africa has attracted so much. You will see the difference. I haven't checked, but I'm sure the difference is big. So you still have that disability of a fragmented market. But of course, we, the freedom fighters, saw it from the beginning. That's why from the 1960s, we are struggling for integration of the market, including even political integration, where possible. Now, because of that, because FDI was rushing to China, because it was a very attractive big market. Once you are there, you have got 1.4 billion people to buy from you. I'm sure this is the difference between the United States and Latin America. Latin America has got a lot of natural resources. Those countries, they have got a lot of water, a lot of minerals, but why are they poor? For me, I think that one of the problems is the market fragmentation. But here, therefore, from the beginning, I could see that relying on the private sector to be the one to bring money to deal with wealth creation after you have dealt a bit with the infrastructure was not correct. There was a mistake there. Because your own people did not have the savings, and they were not even saving, even when they have money, they squander it. But the foreign investment would not easily be attracted compared to, for instance, China. So that's why, from the beginning, I said, we need a UDB, we need an Ojangore Banang. We need a UDB, we need a government institution which is not looking for profit, to keep giving some capital, not only for infrastructure, but even for wealth creation. You know the wealth of Gaga. I tell you, difference between Nkulakulana, development, and wealth of Gaga. Difference. People don't know this. They just talk development, transformation, blah, 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 blah. Yes, the two are different. Wealth belongs to me, to my family, to my company. Development is for the drunkards, for the witch doctors, for everybody. Abasize ekiro batambulira ku luguudo bagenda kusera. But wealth. And we are telling you that Madam, Mademoiselle, Monsieur, the way they speak in the African Union, when you go there, Madame, Mademoiselle, Monsieur. The wealth is in 4 sectors: commercial agriculture, manufacturing and artisanship, services like hotels and so on, and ICT. This is where the wealth is. Yes, some of the this is where wealth is. Of course, with very rich people, they can also own roads. You can have somebody owning a road and takes road tolls. But for us, if we have a business in agriculture, in manufacturing or artisanship, in services and ICT, that's where things are easier now. So therefore, the other position of the people whom I was dealing with here when we started, that deal with the roads, wealth will be dealt with by the private sector. I want you to check that, because the private sector here doesn't have enough money. The private sector outside may not know, may not be so much attracted as much. So what do we do? That's why our answer was UDB, our own. Kaweri midday, tugamba tutya. Kaweri midday, ekira mbegerako. Si bwe tugamba. Abaganda bwe buli wano bannange. Bagwawo Abaganda bannange. Bano bali awo. So, Kaweri midday. That's why Kaweri means what is yours is more under your control. That's why I wanted the UDP. And even if we were to put more money and more money and more money, the twenyiga, squeeze ourselves. I think this is correct, UDP. Because if you say private capital, my question in Luo is tie kwene. Private capital tie kwene. Where is it? And that's where, again, our other Uganda proverb. Nanyini mfu yakola ki? Nanyini mfu yakola ki? Ani asobola kunyamba banange jangu kumuzindaalo nyambeko. Kandi Abaganda bwe bali wano. You Rwampara man, are you in Uganda? You go and sit.
Sir President, nanyini mufu yakwata awawunya.
You translate it in English.
The one who has a dead body actually touches where it smells most.
If the dead body in the past, when there was no proper management of dead bodies, the relative of the dead person is the one to touch where the smelling is worse. So, the owner of the dead body is ourselves. So this strengthens my argument for the UDP, whatever happens. Now, but alongside all of this, the struggle for, because you remember these businesses, in order for them to be successful, they need low input costs, low cost of electricity, low cost of transport, which we are struggling with, low cost of money, but they also need market. You must get somebody to buy what you produce. So, as strategists, we must struggle for the integration of the African market as a matter of life and death, not just talk about it and then go. No, it is decisive. Now, of course, I hear that there is patient capital abroad. That's what I hear. That there are groups, pension funds, and so on in some of these countries which we liberated from poverty. Because remember, the African slaves are the ones who liberated the Europeans from poverty by working for nothing. To have people working for you from 1470 there, when they started taking slaves from West Africa, to about 1900. Free labor. Why would you not be rich?